seagulls follow trawler. It's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much.
Talking nonsense. So I thought, no, enough's enough. Why should I put up with that? Talking nonsense. So I thought, no, enough's enough. Why should I put up with that? Don't back down, double down. Don't back down, double down.
So guys, don't worry, you're not in some sort of dream. It's not Sunday morning, it's Saturday night. It's 7 till 8. It's me and Mark. It's not quite Sunday, Mark, but I'm glad to be here. Saturday night fever, mate.
How you doing, mate? How's things?
I'm doing well, mate. A bit of junior football today, and then back some roast chicken for dinner, and then Saturday night Celtic talk. So no, I'm looking forward to it.
You know, mate, it's probably a lot to chew on over this weekend. Champions League draw, we've not spoken about that yet together. Dundee United tomorrow. Thoughts about that, lineups, etc. There's a lot to talk about, mate.
Aye, especially now that I'm doing well at the old predictor, and I predicted every single score of the day, Mark. So
Right, the correct scores are winners. Just...
No correct scores, just winners, mate. Just winners. That's what you need, mate. Just every team I'm predicting, mate, will win the day. So everybody else can watch in me.
I might be the same apart. I think I put a draw for St Johnstone. I think they might have could beat after Kilmarnock or whatever it was.
Motherwell can beat up Kilmarnock 2-1.
I think I had one each on that.
Anyway, we'll move on to the more important stuff, and that is that Celtic are back playing tomorrow, Mark, at 12 o'clock. We're starting to get used to these.
I mean, I think somebody was telling me that's a fifth game and everyone's been a Sunday except one match, which ironically was the one match that nobody got to see, apart from you and the 11 players at Dingwall, which is quite funny. No, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I'm going to be getting away so I can watch the full match, so that's good. I'm looking forward to it. Good to see the Celtic back on telly. I can't get tickets for these sort of away matches anymore. It's unfortunate, but the whole matches is all I get to nowadays, mate. But anyway, tomorrow should be pretty good. I'm expecting a strong lineup, and I'm expecting a team that have had a week's rest and are ready to go again.
So Mark, since we last spoke, we've had a brand new signing into Ange Postecoglou with Celtic, and we've had the Champions League draw. What one would you like to start with, mate?
Oh, I'm a gentleman, mate. I'll let you decide, mate. Since you're the host, I can just fire in the answers you batter in.
So we'll talk about the brand new signing. I think I'm saying it. Haksabanovic, was that right? Haksabanovic?
Said Handanovic. But I think
Right.
they're calling him. I think they're calling him Hacksaw. I think people are calling him Hacksaw, which suits me, mate, because
Haksabanovic, aye.
aye. So that'll suit me. Any nickname suits me, mate. 'Cause especially when I'm trying to type it on Twitter. I remember we had El Hamid. I didn't get that guy's name right once. I was calling him El Mohammed for about 8 months before I realised it was El Hamid. So anything that makes it easier for me to write, the better. And
People call
what's that?
people call me a different name all the time. I just go, aye, no bother, aye, I'm doing no bad.
Off, mate. I get called a different name every 5 minutes. Believe you me, none of them's nice. But I'll take Hacksaw if they want to call me that. I know, but I've watched a couple of his clips on YouTube. That's all I've got, mate. I've not got any knowledge. He's stint in Sweden or in Germany, Russia. Sorry, so I could tell you fuck all about him. But as for his YouTube clips, to me, he looked very good on the left hand side. It reminded me a bit of Mohamed El Yunusi in the way he can cut inside and let one fly, like pretty neat and tidy. But I think Celtic are going to be playing him on the right hand side. Me and you have spoke for a long time now about replacing Tom Rogic. I don't know if it's like for like,
I
but
think it is, Mark. I think it is.
I
Because
think the patter amongst the folk who get access to the club. By access, I mean they get to ask him 2 questions.
no,
The
it's
part
Mark,
amongst them is he's got to play on the right hand side, the midfield, like, in the number 10 role, behind the strikers as such. So if that is the case, mate, that would do me.
Mark, don't forget, it's one question they get, and they're saying, "Oh, Kyogo told me this." And,
I don't watch the Friday night
none.
interviews anymore, mate. I just watch Angie's interview. There was one the other day. There was like 25 minutes long with Kyogo, and I thought, to be honest with you, I don't need to hear somebody ask him we call a hair dye he uses in his hair and what his favourite pizza topping is. A lot of fucking shite, honestly, mate. I'd even watch it. If there's anything useful coming out of the interviews, it'll be in the papers before I get a chance to watch it on YouTube anyway. That's all I'll say to anybody who wants to actually watch proper Celtic stuff. Just keep on watching channels like this and keep
Mark,
the eye on some of the mainstream stuff. Just some of it.
But what I did find interesting that Ange said yesterday was he can play in a number of positions. He's very versatile. He's my type of player, and I think that's what Ange's been looking for, a squad filler that we spoke about. And I don't like that at Celtic, but if that's the way Ange wants to operate, then fair play to him.
Aye, mate. I think we've got a few players like that. I mean, our captain for one. I mean, he's a number 6, a number 8. We saw him play left back. Kyogo, we've saw him on the left hand side. We saw him through the middle. Maeda, we've saw him everywhere. Giakoumakis seems to be the kind of player that's got one kind of role in the team. I think even Abada, he's went on the right. He's played through the middle. We'll go them out of the park. You know what I mean? Our fullbacks are kind of inverted and they can play almost in midfield sometimes. I think that's a good thing. I've always been kind of like one of the advocates of getting 11 players that know how to play one position really well, rather than 11 players that know how to play several positions good. So, but this guy seems to have kind of mastered the art of getting guys who are almost at a level where they can play a very, very good level. Sorry, a very good level, but they can play in multiple positions. I mean, and the prime example is the one I just said there, a captain. You know what I mean? I actually think he's always been a number 8 or that kind of creative midfield player, but I almost feel like he's a 6 or an 8 now. But I think he was, if you had to pin him down to a position, I think he'd be number 6 now. I don't think he's necessarily tied down to one position during match play, but I think if you had to set him up on a strategy screen, whatever you call it, I think you'd put him at number 6. I think the guy's seen as a holding midfielder for Celtic, and not a defensive midfielder, a holding midfielder. But we all know that he's technically positioned as a number 8, and he's been doing both positions really well for Celtic over the years. But I think when we had to replace Scott Brown, we didn't have to replace Scott Brown, the player, as much as we had to replace his influence. But I think Carl McGregor's filled in both those boxes. He's that influence on the park. He's got a lot of respect among the players. The fans love him. But he's also took up that mantle on the pitch where he's playing in kind of Scott Brown kind of super position, but he's also moving forward as well. He's doing that kind of dual role, and I think Haksabanovic, if he's going to be a right-hand sided Tom Logic type, that's great, but it also gives us an opportunity if the worst comes to happen and we lose a striker, we could always move him to the left and bring in Maeda, or move him to the left and rejig Jota about and maybe place a Vada in the middle. There's always a couple of options when you've got somebody who's as fluid as that. And I think this guy looks like he's strong, so you never know.
Mark, I want to bring in a comment from, I think it's Robert, that says, no one is guaranteed a place in this team. That includes the captain, Callum McGregor.
Well, that's not true, mate. I think Hart, Juranovic, Taylor, Carter Vickers, Callum McGregor, Hatate, Maeda, Kyogo, and Jota are all 102% guaranteed starters for that Celtic team.
Yeah, especially
no matter what happens, if they come in tomorrow and replace that squad with a squad that's even better, I guarantee you the guys will still be getting a start for Celtic. There's only a couple of positions that are up for grabs. I think the second centre back position, that's up for grabs. I feel like that's Jens or Starfelt. Personally, I would like Ralston the right, but that's not going to happen. I think Kyogo's his number one striker, although I think Giacomakis should play certain games. And Maeda, it would take a bomb to displace Maeda. He's the first pick for Ange no matter what happens, you know what I mean? And I think that's a wee bit of a myth about fans who tell us that you can't get into Ange Postecoglou's psyche, but these are the same guys that kind of know Ange inside out and know an Ange player and know what Ange is like behind the scenes. It's very strange, but I can assure you there's guys that are... There can be guys that will maybe be half no well Monday to Wednesday and no train 1 minute, but if they show up Thursday, Friday, they're getting a start, I can assure you. And Callum McGregor's one of them.
Mark, I want to ask you, because do you believe that, as Russell says it on a Monday show again, he says the Strachan syndrome, where Strachan always played the players that he kind of bought into, and I think that's the same thing with Postecoglou, because you see that on Sunday with Moy, because I'm going to say, right, I don't believe that James McCarthy is a great player, but I don't think he's that far off Moy. And if you're James McCarthy, and you can't get ahead of Moy in the squad, I think for James McCarthy, it basically shows that Ange Postecoglou is not wanting you anywhere near the Celtic team, because for me, Moy wasn't impressive when he came on Sunday. Mark, I was at the game with your brother on Sunday, and I just wasn't impressed with Celtic at all.
No. I mean, I did say to you, I've been interested to see the guy play in a match that hasn't already been won yet. And I think that's exactly what happened. I think he came on at 1-0, I think. And I think he played a part in the second goal, I think. I mean, I've seen a Celtic replay, and the way he moved about, he looked like a 40-year-old. You know, he really looked very cumbersome. And I don't know, mate. I totally agree with you. I think there's players that are just players who Ange likes, and that is it. And I think Moy's one of them. I think Moy will get more game time than Beaton and McCarthy put together this season. And to be honest with you, there's no way that guy's fit. I mean, normally you have to prove your fitness before you get game time. I think this guy's getting game time to prove his fitness. And I've never seen that before, mate. And I think Ange has obviously bought into the guy, so he's trying to sell them to the Celtic fans. He doesn't need to sell anybody to me. If he thinks he's good enough for Celtic, then I'll give him a chance. But I think when it comes to players that he's brought over, or players that he's like, the narrative is it's an Ange player as such, it tends to hang his hat on him a bit more. I think one he's got away with is Bernabei. I think that incident gave Ange a wee bit of relief, because they can no play him, and then nobody starts questioning where the £3.5 million defender is. That, and the fact that people are admitting that Greg Taylor's actually a good player now. I think there's a wee bit of psychology there going on with people. I think they've realised that this guy's not anywhere near it, and rather than admitting that the guy's maybe not at the level that he should be for that kind of money, they'll just push out the rosy side of the garden and say it's because Greg Taylor's all of a sudden became a good player. Greg
Mark,
Taylor became a good player about a year and a half ago. Reegan,
Mark,
let me finish, mate. Sorry.
yeah.
Greg Taylor became a good player about a year and a half ago, mate, and nobody's really gave him a chance. But he seems to be getting a lot of good press now, mate, and I think that's we've realised that he's brought in about 4 players and not one of them can replace him.
Aye, sorry, Mark. I was just going to bring in this comment from PM. PM says Big Ange will drop will drop any player at a drop of a hat if he thinks that they're not they're not in they're not in the type of form that he expects.
No, I understand, well, mate, what do you think, Reegan? Because I think we've saw spells where there's been players that have dropped form and they seem to only come out through injury. You know, I don't think there's many players that have had disastrous form at Celtic since he's come in. We've played at a high level, but I can assure you, mate. See, if we go through 10 matches and I'll just pluck a name out, Maida plays Rotten for 10 games. Maida's still starting at 11th.
See for me, Mark, I still think that he should play Abada more. Abada comes on, he does well every single time I see him. He plays well. I just don't know what Abada has to do to get ahead of Maeda.
That's very true, mate. They were both signed by the Ange setup. Maybe not Ange himself. I'm pretty sure we all know what ones Ange's actually asked for and what ones Ange's picked out of a DVD collection that he's been told to look at. You know what I mean? I don't think there's some players that it's like a wee signing committee and he's been asked to pick the best player. He's gave like a set of instructions about what type of player he wants, and they've maybe brought 5 to the table and says, like, pick the one that you want to hear. But I think see guys like Maeda, Kyogo, Ideguchi, they've all been handpicked by him. He's come in and he said, look, these are the guys that I want. There's no scouting needed done here. This is my setup. I just want you to try and negotiate the deal. And these guys are totally different. I like to say Abada. I mean, I don't know for a fact, but I would suspect that Abada's maybe not been on his periphery when he's been in the G League. I think he's maybe came across him when Dudu Dan's phoned Peter Lawwell and said, Peter, do you want to phone the Celtic manager for me and tell him I've got a player here? But he's been a class act for Celtic. I think he's still only 21 or 22. Reegan, he's not as if he's a seasoned professional yet, but he's played one full season for Celtic. He scored about 15 goals or something like that. He's scored goals against Rangers. I think he's scored in Europe. So I agree with you. I think Maida's went on the left hand side, and you can say that he's no as good as Jota without making it sound like you're totally slating Maida. Maida's just no as good as Jota. He's no a brilliant football player. He's a hard worker. He's probably got a bit more skill about him than what meets the eye. I think his best football is to come to Celtic, but there's no way anybody can tell me he's as good as Jota. But so instead of playing Jota out of position, play Jota in the position that he likes, and play Abada in a position that he's comfortable in, and keep Maeda for certain matches or certain minutes on the pitch when it's half an hour to go and you're trying to break a team down. He goes on full energy. But that's for Ange to decide, not for me and you. But just on your point, mate, there's absolutely no way that Ange has to get a starting 11. I think if all your players are fit, I could tell you the starting 11 for the day and the starting 11 for the last game of the season now.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you because he's not changed it up too much, Mark. The next thing we're going to move on to is Celtic's big match that's round the corner on Sunday. In terms of Dundee United, they have not done too well the last few weeks. So what are you expecting for this game, Mark? Because I think the important thing for Celtic is to get to score nice and early, because then you know the stuffing out of Dundee United straight away.
It kind of messes up their game plan, doesn't it, Reegan?
It does.
I can imagine Jack Ross is maybe, like most managers, been telling his players all week just to focus 100% on the man they're marking and stick to the game plan and be disciplined and all the rest of it. But an early goal just kills that. I think most teams, home and away, will be told after a manager to make it as tight as possible, break when they can, and try and frustrate the Celtic crowd. And see if he can do that if in the first half an hour. That just kind of gives him a wee second wind. That kind of gives him a wee chance of breaking up the park and maybe grabbing a corner, grabbing a goal, whatever. So we know what we're going to expect tomorrow week, and it's going to be 10 men behind the ball. They're going to sit one striker up at midfield. When the presses, there'll be one player who presses. It'll be kind of like a just for the sake of showing their fans that they're pushing on us. It'll be what any sort of game, similar to Ross County away. Just stuffy defence and just. But to be quite honest with you, I think Ange was talking about it yesterday. Dundee United is a hard place to go to for Celtic. Even last year, we beat them once in the cup, fairly comfortable.
We did.
Drew one each of them. Is it 3-1? Was it 3-0?
3-0. We beat them at the cup game.
But I find it a hard place to go. Even the poorer Dundee United teams, Celtic have always. It's a small pitch for anybody that's ever been up there. It's a wee small pitch, nice wee stadium, right enough. But I think, I know what to expect tomorrow. I think it'll be a wee tight pitch, tight game. My prediction was 2-1 on the predictor. I don't know what yours was, mate.
3-1.
3-1. I'll take yours all day long. It's a bit less stress for me, mate. But I don't think they're going to push overs anymore. I see sometimes when teams are in bad form like that at home, mate, and just sometimes when they're in bad form and they're at home, they seem to like that that stress they've got about performing at a high level, that kind of goes. They know that nobody's expecting them to get a point. They can relax a wee bit, and they tend to get a better result than what people are expecting. I'm not saying it's going to be extremely tight affair. I think there will be 2-1. I think Celtic go 2-0 up. I think they'll get a goal late on. The usual Celtic give you a heart attack stuff. But I'll not be a walkover, mate. I think Celtic will win the match. They'll look more comfortable than what the scoreline suggests right enough, I think.
Do you think that the fact that Ange always starts with Kyogo now shows you that he thinks that Kyogo can really get in behind these tight packed defences with his the way that he gets in behind?
Oh, I think that's obvious, mate. You're right there. I think that's what he's for, isn't it, mate? Just getting in behind the defences. His movements his movement's killer. You know what I mean? I think he scored 3 goals this season already. Is that right?
Yep.
He scored that. I think he has scored 3 goals already this season, and they've all been quite important goals. It's not as if he scored like the 5th goal in a 5-0 win. They've been at crucial times for Celtic, and do you know, you can't criticise the manager because the guy who he's picked is scoring the goals. But see, Giakoumakis, he's probably played about half an hour of football, and he's also scored 2 or 3 goals.
He has,
and not only that, he's coming on and he's looking sharp. You know, he's creating chances, and he missed 2 chances against Hearts the other day there and put one away. Well, kinda. He got the goal, but I think Giakoumakis is a number 1 striker. Kyogo's a number 1 striker, but I think Giakoumakis is the guy for certain games. I think Giakoumakis is a guy for Tynecastle. I think he's a guy for Easter Road, Ibrox. But Kyogo, I think, is your bread and butter. I think Kyogo's your stuffy packed defences. Even at Celtic Park, I think he's the kind of guy you want running in behind the defence. But
okay, Mark. So I know we're looking a bit far ahead here, but you said that Giakoumakis is your man against Rangers, against Hearts, against the teams like that. So next week, by this time next week, Celtic have played Rangers at Celtic Park. Do you think Giakoumakis plays that?
No, and it goes against what somebody was saying earlier on. Giakoumakis goes on off the bench tomorrow and scores a hat-trick in 4 minutes and win the game 3-2. Giakoumakis is on the bench next Sunday.
Yep. But Mark, because I want to ask you this question, right? See, for me, right, I don't think that Celtic win that game without Giakoumakis last year. See, we went when Celtic won 3-0, beat Rangers. Real Tati scored the 2 goals and Abada scored. Now, don't forget that I think it was Kyogo's international. He was over in international, but then he was I think he got injured in it, international duty, and then Maeda got in. Maeda was on the plane on the day of the game, right?
Yeah.
So my point is that I don't think that if Maeda was fit and Kyogo was fit, they would have been on the bench. They would have been playing. So that just shows me that Giakoumakis and Abada have proved to you in the big games that they can step up.
Aye, exactly, mate. And if you remember that final game, if you remember well at Ibrox, I mean, Giakoumakis was
Yeah,
a handful and a half. He was, for me, he was man of the match that day. He really was. I think if he played at Hampden, we would have won that match as well. I've said that.
yeah, I
I've said that a
totally
couple of
agree.
times. I think we would have won the 1-0, the one
I
each
don't know
game
if
at
you,
Celtic Park.
I don't know if you remember the actual reaction when that 3-0 game, but see before the game, Celtic fans were going, "Oh no, Kyogo's not playing." But then Giakoumakis showed up for his first game, and everybody was just blown away by him.
Exactly, mate. I mean, folk were having the same reaction when Lee Griffiths got injured in the 5-1 game and Rogers' first derby match. I was on a supporters bus and we're all turning their head at the thought of Lee Griffiths being injured because it was maybe Willie Won't and
Aye,
Dembele
and
started
the
and
belly.
he scored a hat trick and yeah, I totally agree with you, mate. I remember that well actually. I think there was hope to get him back and I think people were watching. I think they were playing it like during the night in their time, which meant he could have flew back and been in the country for like very early morning. And thinking back, it would have been ridiculous to play the guy, but he didn't play anyway. I think Maida ended up getting about half an hour, I think, if I remember right. But I think Giakoumakis, and he actually had a brilliant chance, but he won a header and that McGregor pulled off a wonder save. Managed to get into it, and
He
it
did.
was a great
Aye.
save. And McGregor just seems to probably laugh against us quite often. But
I
I
suppose. I suppose this season McGregor will be playing. It'll be John McLaughlin though, and I've not been impressed with John McLaughlin actually. So
to be honest with you, Regan, mate, I don't really watch them at all. So that's good if you're saying he's not been impressive. That's good for me.
no, no, he's not impressive at all. So Mark, we're going to move on to some more positive stuff apart from the big fixture that's on tomorrow, and that is that Celtic's first home game in the Champions League will be Real Madrid at home on the 6th of September. That'll be some game, Mark.
Oh, that's why they bought the disco lights into it. That'll be amazing. Ryan's going to that game. I'm not going to the Champions League
Oh,
game,
is
so
it?
Ryan's going to be sampling that.
He did tell me last week that you avoid to go to the games. See, Mark, I thought when you said you avoided to go, you meant that you like you actually went to the games, but you didn't look forward to going because Celtic were going to get beat. I didn't know you actually didn't go.
No,
You,
this has been about 2 years now that I've been religiously avoiding them. But I think I've mentioned it before. I think it was the PSG game when I walked out 5-0. We get beaten. I just happened to just say to somebody who's walking by me, I went, that team will even get to past the last 16. And they didn't. And I went, they played a different sport for us, Beaton says. And I went, we're just no for this
no,
level of football at all. And it's not Celtic's fault. I mean, far from it. I feel like it's UEFA's fault for allowing these teams to break the rules and then give them a financial penalty. It's ironic that for financial unfair no for breaking financial fair play you get a fine. That just doesn't make sense to me. But
obviously that's a great thing for your brother, Mark. But I think you'll be slightly annoyed if Celtic
do you know
pull
what, mate?
pull off the
Do you know
victory
what?
and you're not there, mate. You'll be raging.
Oh, Regan, I've seen them all, mate. I've seen us beat Barca's and Man U's and that. I've seen it all before, mate. It's not anything that I've not seen. But to be quite honest with you, mate, if I was going on the bus to the match, it'd be electric. The stadium would be electric. Just seeing that the white strips or whatever, or probably an away strip they were, but seeing that Real Madrid team walk out of Celtic Park, it is bucket list stuff. But then the referee blows the whistle, and then you realise there's a reality to life, and you're 2-0 down within a minute. You know what I mean? No, to be quite honest with me, I don't. As I say, it's no Celtic's fault, but It's not really that I'm not interested in it. Right? Like, I was talking to Russell about this the other day. There, it's not like I'm apathetic, but it's almost apathy. It's like, put it this way, see if it did, and this is a big if. See if it did, could beat that. Could beat right. I say big if because I'm trying to sound positive, but it wouldn't affect my sleep. But see if it was Kilmarnock it beat us, I'd be in a bad mood for about 5 days. You know that way. I wouldn't. I would just. I would soon. I put it this way. This is going to sound crazy to folk, but it's like, it God's honest truth. Like, it didn't even cross my mind to buy that package. But see if that was Broadwood, Clyde at Broadwood, I would click on straight away to see if I can get a ticket.
Aye, so fair.
Mate, it's not for everybody, mate. I don't watch international football either. I can't get my head around that either. I don't understand it myself. But so I get what folk probably think, well, I don't understand. But mate, I've seen it all. I've seen us fucking beat some of the best teams in the world at Celtic Park. You know what I mean? And the atmospheres are amazing and it's great. But I've also seen us getting absolute embarrassments and just something. See, you're sitting there at half time and you're like, oh, I know, hoping it 45 minutes to go, and you're like, oh, I'm working tomorrow and it's pissing the rain, and you're like, oh, why get here? It's Champions League football is really exciting. It's good. Like yesterday, everybody's tuned to the tellies trying to get the draw, and on Friday, so like Thursday, and everybody's buzzing. I understand that, and you're like, who are we going to get? And then the music's playing, and I don't think it's a better noise in European football when that anthem goes off at Celtic Park. Maybe a close second, maybe Rangers, but Celtic Park must be the loudest stadium going about in that moment, and it's amazing. But then the unfortunate part about European football is it involves actual football, and that's where Celtic fall short, mate. I'm afraid to tell folk, you know what I mean? It's like, but I was on the Celtic supporters podcast on Thursday, and we were talking about this, and ironically, I think this group is probably the best the group Ange could have picked, mate. I mean, I think Real Madrid has got the glamour tie, which we all want to see. I want to see Celtic play against Real Madrid. I think it's going to be phenomenal for the club. That is, Real Madrid's at the very, very peak of football. It's no Man U or that shite. Real Madrid is the very peak, right? Liverpool, they're no, they've won a lot of trophies and that, but they're no Real Madrid. So we've got that tie to look forward to, but we've also got, I would suggest, the two teams that we're up against. I'm not entirely sure that if they two were in their league, they would necessarily win the Premier League. So I think Celtic have got a chance against them. I really do. I think Celtic have got a chance to finish second. I think it's going to. I did see our very last game as a Bernabeu, which might play in their hands because two reasons. I think if we get into the last game, if we get into the last match, I'll almost guarantee you that Madrid's already qualified anyway, right?
But
so they'll play their Waynes, but their Waynes are a lot better than what we're going to be anyway. But the best chance we're going to get is if they drop their stars. So that's best case scenario for us is we play a weekend Real Madrid team, which it will be a weekend. I can't see them getting to match day 4 and no qualified yet, mate. I really can't. So we see the other two teams. I think Celtic have got a good chance to get 6 points against the other two teams. I don't think any of the two come to Celtic Park as favourites. I think Celtic can go toe to toe with them at Celtic Park. And if you want them here, Shakhtar Donetsk, they're playing in Poland. And I've seen somebody saying if they lost 5 players.
Yep, and I did see as well, Mark, that quite a lot of the players are from their native country as well. So that means that Shakhtar Donetsk used to have players like Fernandinho, Malian, and people like that. Whereas now they've not got any of the Brazilian players because of the stuff going on in their native country. So I think that plays into Celtic's hands a bit, Mark.
I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if Celtic get second in this group. I think as soon as that draw came out, I think Andrew have sat down and thought to himself, okay, it would probably be saying to the players, look, I want us to get third here, but let's try and get second. I think third is achievable. I think, to be quite honest with you, mate, I do disrespect them, but I think if Shakhtar Donetsk are going to be playing 6 matches away from home, lost 5 or 6 other players, and we can't pip them in a group table, and then it speaks more for us than it does for them. So I'm going to assume that we go into Shakhtar Donetsk and see if we get 1 point away from home. See if we get just 1 point away from home. I think we'll have enough in our locker for the home matches to guarantee third place.
Yep. What do you make of this comment from Pat? He says that Real Madrid lost their first game of the Champions League the last time they played, and this time they're playing Celtic. So that's a very good omen for us.
I bet you see the other 29 times. I bet they won. Am I right? I don't know. I bet I'm
not
not
sure,
far off
man.
it.
I'm not sure, but that's just me trying to put a positive spin on it for
Listen,
Celtic.
mate. I bet. See, the thing is, you don't need to put a positive spin on it, Reegan, because I think the positives are all there. I think there's no negativity in Celtic getting beat after Real Madrid. No, you pick out some of the best teams in our existence, and they're all capable of going to Real Madrid and getting beat or getting beat after at Celtic Park.
Yeah,
It's Real Madrid, mate. They're on a different planet for us. So, see if we did get beat, which I'm expecting. So what? You know what I mean? Our Champions League campaign. I'm talking about the actual football side. I'm not talking about the
yeah,
glamour and the prestige. Our football is going to be Leipzig and home and away, Shakhtar home and away. That's your campaign. The other two matches, if you get a goal, brilliant. See if you manage to get a point after 1 or 2 games. That's Celtic selling DVDs stuff. You know what I mean? That's
yeah.
but the other two, I think. I mean, I genuinely think if we could get 4 points out of this group, I'm not saying that's what we're going to get. See if you get 4 points out of this group, I think you're getting to the Europa League and you're getting third place.
Yep, I agree with you, Mark. I just want to talk to you about the fact that you spoke there about DVDs and stuff like that because
You will buy any? You will buy some?
because I want to bring up a fact that CRB from Germany, who we are playing, Mark. I remember when Celtic beat RB 2-1 when I think it was Tierney that scored and Edward scored as well when Brendan Rodgers won his first game for Celtic in Europe. Is that right? Remember that game, man? No?
I think it was I think people were saying it was his first big win. But he won more
Aye,
than that.
aye,
He won more than that.
aye. But I remember
Aye.
maybe RB, but I think people are underestimating them because they got a semi-final in the Europa League. But I know what people are saying because obviously we could have got a harder team from pot two. So I totally get it, but I still think they're going to be tough.
I think if you're a Celtic fan and you handpicked that table, you still be happy with that. I
Aye.
don't think Shakhtar are they're probably just about on par with us, mate. So they're beatable. And Leipzig, I'm not entirely sure what level they're at. I know Rangers beat them last season, but I'm not scared of them. Bring them on. I think maybe the away tie will probably try and go for a win and try and get a draw. But at Celtic Park, I think Ange Postecoglou will be saying, "Look, let's remember who we are. We're Celtic. This is Celtic Park. Let's go for the win." And I wouldn't be shocked. Or I wouldn't be flabbergasted if Celtic finished second. But I wouldn't fall off my chair if they finished fourth either. But I do think Celtic, for me, if anybody had offered me third place in this group before the draw was made, I would bite your hand off, mate. And I still think that's probably the reality. But I do think we should be at least making a goal for second to see how we go on. Because
Aye.
if the first and last game you can kind of write off. But as I've already said, if you're going to the last game and assuming the other two teams are going to be trying to take points off each other, if you can get into there and your best case scenario is playing a team that's weakened, which will be in Madrid, who knows? Just who
Yep.
knows?
Yep. Mark, what do you make of this comment from Joe, who says that he thought I was joined by Cy Ferry tonight? He says
Again?
he says you're looking like Cy Ferry tonight.
Fuck's it. Somebody else said that a few months ago on the show, and I just can't see. I'm trying to think who that guy is. That's the guy at the open goal, isn't it?
Yes.
Somebody else, my brother said I used to look like Paul Caddis, an old Celtic player, but I don't know where he got that
Aye.
from. But
Have you ever heard that?
Cy
you-
Ferry?
Have you ever heard the random story about Paul Caddis? Paul Caddis only eats McDonald's.
I only eat toast. The two is a freaky together.
You heard that? He said that he got into trouble from all his football managers for having a McDonald's up the back of the bus.
I'll tell you something, what a career he had in England. I think he's a
Aye.
legend at a few clubs in there. I think the guy's made a lot of money in England, and he's played the Championship, and he's probably made a fucking right good living for himself. So if that's
Aye,
McDonald's, I might need to start changing my diet.
I think he kept Birmingham up, and he kept Swindon up as well. So he's got.
Did they not promote somebody as well? Did they not get a promotion goal for somebody?
I think it
Or
was
was that?
saving from relegation. Birmingham.
I think that's it. Was it? I remember seeing it on YouTube. It was last minute or something, isn't it?
Aye. Russell says he was a captain of Swindon and Birmingham. They should have.
But I think did Cy Ferry play for Swindon Town as well?
He did.
Maybe I played for Swindon Ware. Maybe that's the link.
He did.
I'll need to Google this guy later because I thought the guy had blonde hair. That's Cy Ferry. Is that the other guy? Is that the daft one that's got blonde hair?
That's Slaney.
Slaney, that's it. Aye. No, I'll need to Google it. If he's good looking, I'll take that, mate. It's better than some of the ones I've had.
Talking about McDonald's, Matt, you ever seen that programme about the guy that eats McDonald's for
Aye. That's how I've not at McDonald's in about 20 years because of that movie. I need to
31,
live it in my house.
31 days he watches it. So he's a cheeseburger for breakfast for 31 days and he's spewing his smoke and all that. It's absolutely mental.
Aye, well, it came off the back of some woman sued McDonald's for $50 million in America. She said that she managed to prove that their menu, just quickly, their menu was proven for people to eat all their meals at McDonald's. It was cheaper or whatever it was. And he tried it and his doctor said to him, "You've almost pickled your liver like an alcoholic. That's the state of your liver is just now after 1 month." And he made irreversible damage to his insides. He took a box of chicken nuggets and said to one of the CEOs, "Go take a bit of that." And he's like, "Oh no, I've had my lunch." The guy just would not eat a bit of McDonald's chicken. This is like the CEO or something. He's like, "Oh no, I'm full up, mate. Honestly." He's like, "No, I take a bit." He's like, "No." He's like, point to the chicken where you get the chicken for your chicken burgers and that. He's like, I don't know, the feet. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But I'm not allowed that anywhere near me, mate. I think it's disgusting.
See, Mark, I mean, you don't get that in any other podcast on YouTube. You don't get any of that knowledge of McDonald's, Mark. You don't get that anywhere.
Well, I was watching the World Kaiser on the Endless Celts last night, and you're not getting fancy graphics here, but at least you'll get McDonald's part.
Exactly. So we're going to move on to the fact that Celtic are playing tomorrow, and the fact that we've only got 6 days now until the transfer window shuts. Mark, what do you think will be done before now and then?
I think we might see, I'm hoping we see a Yeti leave the building and Mikey Johnston. I think Mikey Johnston's one that I've heard Ange talk quite, he's been saying, "Oh, this guy needs to go here and get some game time." So I think Ange is working hard on getting him a club, or at least he's allowing him to work hard himself. I'm kind of hoping that we're still looking about for somebody to come in midfield in the central defensive midfielder. I don't want to talk about Moy again, but Moy's not the answer. So I think there was talk of a boy. I can't remember the guy's name or what club he was at, but there was talk of him. And I'd like to see Celtic just push that button, because that's I'm pretty sure that the £40 million whatever it's going to be is set aside for, I don't know, maybe a bonus for the directors, but it'll also have add-ons. Madrid's going to add some more money to that. You know what I mean? Madrid, there'll be add-ons to that money. The fact that we're playing Real Madrid, there'll be a commercial aspect that we've not tapped into yet because of that.
Mark, I don't mean to bring this up in a Celtic podcast, but Giovanni Van Bronckhorst said the other night that Rangers could spend. He says things are possible. So if I think Rangers are going to spend money, so Celtic need to show a bit of ambition. I know people say they've showed ambition, but for me, signing Burnaby, Moy, and Jens is not showing ambition.
No, I think out of the ones you said, I think Jen's the only one that I would take seriously. To be quite honest with you, I think the other two. I think one's going to be out on loan as soon as he realises that he's no as good as what they think, and the other one will just retire at Celtic, or at least he'll be retired eventually. But no, I think there's still money there, mate. I know if you listen to some other podcasts, they tell you that we've spent 150 million this summer and we've not got any money to spend, but there's money there to be spent for Celtic, you know what I mean? I mean, the season ticket money and Champions League money, you're talking circa £70 million there. So don't tell me there's no money to spend, because there is. I think, I don't know, mate. If you want to get serious about the Champions League and or Europa League, we're going to need one or two more players. I think Haksabanovic, I call him Haksabanovic, right? Haksabanovic, what a name. Saeed, right? He might lift it up. He might just be what we're missing. Although, if you ask me, I've been wanting Rogic replaced since the day he left, and I'm quite surprised it's took so long to get somebody in, because I think if you'd any intention of this guy being there for the Champions League campaign, he wouldn't have been signed unfit a week before the Champions League starts.
No.
I think he'd have been in the building a long time ago. And same with the CDM. I think we need somebody who's capable of starting beside Carl McGregor in midfield.
So we've got a person coming in here, Mark, and he's saying that he says that he adores Ange Postecoglou, but he's not sure about Ange Postecoglou's style of football in the Champions League. He says that I pray he has a different system. We Celtic need to adjust to superior opposition in the Champions League.
Well, he's got one philosophy, but it doesn't mean he's not getting different game plans or different strategies. That's one thing it's got to be looked at. You know, it's got to be looked at. You know, being an observing eye. You know, you got to look at it and take away the emotions for a minute and see what he's actually doing on the park. His teams are changing shape and changing what they're doing throughout the match. Even I can see it, and I've got the untrained eye. I can see it myself. But I totally agree with the guy. If we go into the Champions League with any ideas that we're playing Ross County and just gone for it, and we are going to be, I think, I'm going to be honest with you, mate, that's probably another reason why Ryan's got to the match and I'm not. Because I do think the guy's not naive and he's not gullible, but he's got an ego. And I think he got a lot of kudos in the World Cup, albeit he lost 3 matches, but the kudos he got was this guy came out and just played 3 teams, his aim brand of football. He got cuffed 3 times. I think one of the games he got beat 3-0, and he was still front page the next day about how good his team played. So, to be honest with you, I'd rather have a Rangers type 1 each draw or 1-0 win than a Celtic type 4-0 defeat. That's just me, mate. I'm sick to my back teeth. I seen us getting beat 4-5-0, and teams like Bayer Leverkusen putting 4 passes at Celtic Park. I'm just sick of seeing it, mate. I think we need to address. We have to be respectful of the opponents, I think, and see if that means shutting them down, lying down on the park, wasting time, not getting up for free kicks straight away, making subs, and when it's getting frantic, then so be it, mate. Just date the right way. Do what Rangers do in Europe. Do what Hearts do at Celtic Park. What Dundee Utd at Celtic Park.
I don't know if you watched the Zurich game of time capsule the other night, but see Zurich, right? They were second best to Hearts, but see what they did, Mark, right? They got in Hearts' head, right? Because the first half, I've never seen it, but Hearts managed to get 76% possession in a game in Europe. I've never seen it in my life. Hearts, they can't even get 76% possession against Celtic. And what Zurich did is they went down for fouls non-stop. They kept questioning the referee, pointing in front of his face and rolling rolling about, and eventually the referee sent off the hard player, and every single foul that Zurich got, he blowed for the whistle. So, see, as much as you play good football, Zurich knew that in that first half of that game that they were second best. I mean, Hearts should have been 4-0 up at half time.
That makes it even better that they get beat then if they were playing that good. That makes it all that more delightful. No, I'll be honest with you, mate. This is what teams do to us as well.
Yep.
I think, see, when you've got momentum within a match, and a team and the other team can break up the play, stay down for throw-ins, take 20, 30 seconds to take a bye kick. It annoys the crowd. It annoys the players. It breaks up momentum, as I just said. Just take your time with throw-ins, take your time with free kicks, make subs, as I said. Just really, really frustrate the life out of them. And do you know something, mate? See that team, and see they went on to playing after beating Hearts, they wouldn't have cared how they got that victory because they're in the group stages of the Europa League and Hearts aren't they? And do you know something? If Rangers had won UEFA Cup last year, they wouldn't have cared how many times they time wasted and got dodgy penalties. They wouldn't have cared one bit. Celtic have just not got that in them, mate, and we're too nice, and that's showcased by Furuhashi, like Gear Diakado that falls to the deck, plays for Rangers.
Aye. Mark, what do you make of this comment coming in from Michael? Michael says Rogers, Brendan Rodgers, Celtic team getting beaten in Europe has now scared the Celtic support and thinking they can't do it. Brendan Rodgers.
I get what you mean, mate. It's kind of like it's set a precedent that Celtic fans are maybe scared that that's going to happen again.
Yes.
But let's be honest, mate. Let's be honest. The teams he played were of a obscene standard. We played a strike force that was worth £750 million at one point, and we're playing them against them with fucking Edward and Dembele or whoever it was, Scott Sinclair in the wing. I mean, great players for us, legends for us in my opinion. Well, no Edward, but some of them are legends for Celtic and were icons anyway.
Top of the table.
That's all I remember that guy for. I wonder how he's getting on it. He's fantastic, Crystal Palace. Don't tell me he's doing shite because that would shock me.
They got beaten 4-2 today after being 2-0 up against Man City in the first 45 minutes. They were 2-0 up.
Oh, that's a pity. I'm so disappointed for him.
Talking about that, did you see Ryan Christie played when Liverpool beat Bournemouth by 9-0 Did they?
I seen Tom English mention how Ryan Christie got his first start in a 5-0 defeat and then his second start today. And the commentator cut him off when the commentator said, sorry, but he scored the winning goal for them midweek there. And he just cut him off. He's like, he's had a terrible start to it with him. I'm like, what's that got to do with Ryan Christie? You know what I mean? I think one team was Man City and one team was Liverpool.
That was
two probably the top 5, top 6 teams in Europe. Yeah. I don't think that's any disgrace for a club that's the same size as Livingston. Let's be honest.
Bournemouth have got a 10,000 seater stadium.
Mate, if they were in Scotland, they'd be playing in front of 2,000-3,000 fans.
They would be.
That's how small a club they are. You know what I mean? Let's be totally honest here. The other 5,000-6,000 they're getting are probably tourist fans or fans that are maybe taking their kids and their neighbours around to the game with them. Just nonsense shit.
Or maybe they've been at Bournemouth Beach and they've went and we'll pop along to the game.
Aye, but to answer that boy's point about Brendan Rodgers, we've been getting scalped in Europe for long enough. I think Brendan Rodgers brought it on the Celtic fans. He just happened to have the unfortunate luck of playing a good Barcelona team and a good PSG team. But I did just that. I mean, Bodo Glimt, they scored 5 goals against us. That's a team with the same budget as Ross County.
Aye.
Their budget is the only team in Scotland's football that's got a budget similar to them was Ross County. It's just below, just roughly the same as Ross County's, and it's below Motherwell's. And they put 5 pies. Sorry, mate, hang on. And then so the Bayer Leverkusen, they put 8 buyers, and Betis put 7 buyers. This isn't anything that's just because it happened 4 years ago. It's all the time, mate. I mean, Ferencváros came to Celtic Park. I think they beat us 3-0 or 3-1. That's a pub team, mate.
Sorry, Mark, I was just going to say when you brought up Bodo Glynn there. I think it was Brown Warrior that says that he would take the player at Bodo Glynn. I think he's talking about Sol backing. I think he impressed against Celtic last year, Mark, and I kind of agree with Brown Warrior there.
Does that mean plays out on the right?
Aye.
Aye, I think. Well, that'd be an idea, mate. Aye, I think he was linked at the start of the season.
He was.
Linked, aye. It just goes to show you that I think they nearly qualified again. I think they missed it pretty late on, so there must be like it's just having like a kind of purple patch, and just probably a year or two they'll probably fall back down to the level they should be at. They'll probably have a lot of players being sold on. I think one of their starlets went to Hibs last year for $200 grand. That's let's be honest, mate, that's a team we were up against, and they absolutely annihilated us. They smashed us. It could have been even a Reegan could have been 7 or 8.
I don't know if you've seen their draw, but their draw for Europa League was PSV and Arsenal. That would have been some draw for Robbie Nielsen's side if they'd got in there. Bodo Glynn and Arsenal.
So Bodo Glynn, who was it? They got Bodo Glynn and Arsenal. Sorry,
Bodo Glynn
PSV?
got. Aye.
All right. So is that who Hearts got as well?
No, so Hearts got beat. No,
Aye.
sorry, Mark.
But was it Bodo Glynn to beat Hearts? It was Sturm Graz, you know.
Sorry, Mark. I mean Rangers. Rangers would have got because PSV got beat off Rangers. Sorry about that.
That's all right, mate. It's easy mistake.
But I want to ask you finally, Mark. Right. So if Peter Lowell and Dermot Desmond, if they gave you, if they said, right, Mark, we have 7 days to go in this window, what players and what positions are you trying to strengthen before next time we go on next Sunday? Are you hoping that we strengthen?
I think we need another central defensive midfielder, mate. I couldn't exactly give you a name. I can't tell you, mate. I really don't. I don't watch enough of European football to see somebody who was slow into that. But I want Celtic to at least make an effort to give Ange what he deserves. Also, I think we need another striker. I think the two we've got are at a very high level, but I think you'd be an absolute idiot if you thought they two were going to get injured.
And don't forget, we've let go our third choice striker and John Joe Kenny. He's away at Queen's Park this week. And
I hate he's going to go on, mate. He's going to go on. There's no way. I think he can write him off, even if he's going to be on the. I think if he was still on the books, and we had a game coming up on Saturday, and it was a Yeti or a Bada, he'd play a Bada. I think if it was a Yeti or Joe Hart, he'd play Joe Hart. I don't think he would give a Yeti a game, and quite right. I don't think the guy deserves to beat Celtic. I think his attitude looks stinking whenever I see him. In fact, I'll never forget the day Rangers won the league. They took 10 in a row. We drew with somebody. I think it was Dundee Utd we drew with.
Yeah, we drew enough for each.
And he wasn't playing that day, and he must have been home. Everyone he posted a picture of his new motor, and I messaged him saying, "You just don't get it, do you?" And he never opened up or replied to it or anything, but I just thought for that minute he just don't get it, mate. That sums that guy up for me. I think, to be quite honest with you, even when he signed, I didn't get the signing. I just don't understand. I didn't know what it was going to bring. I didn't understand the signing. I just looked at it and I went, I'll watch clips of him, and the only explanation people were giving me was, "Oh, he played well with El Yunusi at Bal." I thought, that doesn't mean you're going to play well at Celtic in a totally different formation, in a different league, and it's just, I don't know, mate. Some people are just so easily, fucking, some people are just naive, mate. You know what I mean? They just think everything we touch is gold. I had my doubts for the very first minute of that guy. I just didn't think he was going to fit.
So if you've got the keys for the transfer kitty for the next 7 days, you would
CDM the striker.
CDM the striker. For me, I'm going to say a striker now is more important than a central midfielder. Simply for the fact that I think the standard of Scottish football has got worse, right? And I'm looking at the game today, right? Ross County against Rangers, Aberdeen versus Livingston. Now, Aberdeen are a brand new team and they beat Livingston for 5-0, right? And Motherwell, who finished fourth last year, they got beat by newly promoted Derek McGuinness side. So see if these teams that are well established and supposedly got into European places, they can't put a good run of form together. It just shows you how unpredictable Scottish football can definitely be. And for me, I think that this is not disrespect, but I think James McCarthy, he possibly might still be a player that we should probably keep for the Scottish football, because you look at the mark, he's come up against St Johnstone, up against Ross County, and I think he can definitely do a job. Because see if we play someone like, I don't know, Real Hattati against Real Madrid, we could always bring in McCarthy against Ross County for the following Saturday, so we could switch it up, you know what I mean?
I totally understand your point, mate. But I tell
And
you
then,
what I would say on that. I think the matches in which he's played that he's no impressed me have been against your St Johnstone's and against your Livingston's, and he's not impressed me in their matches.
yeah,
And
to
I
play
think
to play devil's advocate again, Mark, he's only had two proper
aye,
two proper appearances, and that was when the Celtic players caught COVID, and when we got when Real Hattati was injured, Tom Rogic was injured, so he's not had a proper opportunity.
yeah, I totally agree with you, mate. He's not had a chance, mate, at all. And the chances, and it's very hard to come into a team and get rid of him when you're not getting a chance, especially at his age. But with Adam Moy coming in, mate, I think his chances of getting a game at Celtic are very slim. You know what I mean? I think Moy will be pushed on the Celtic fans as much as possible. I think he'll be used as he'll get game time to get up his fitness, as I said, rather than the other way about. I think McCarthy, I think you're right, mate. He probably could do a job for Celtic. I think he'd give him 10 games. But see, since I've been watching Celtic, I'd probably say, like, really watched them for about 30 years nearly. I'd say about 30 years, I'd say. And
Mark, you make me feel old because I'm 24. I'm 24.
don't give me your age,
in 2
mate. But
weeks.
and see Celtic's history, mate. It's full of players that the fans have said they need 10 games. I've mentioned before Derek Reegan. I think if he had 10 games for Celtic, I think he'd have played well for Celtic. The boy was, according to the manager at the time, the best finisher in the league, and he was outstanding at times for Hibs. And when he did get a game for Celtic, he looked a bit classy. I think there was a lot of players at Celtic that just didn't get
I really,
5-10 games. And McCarthy might be one of them, but I don't think McCarthy is of the age or of the right jigsaw piece for this Celtic team. I just don't think he's that player, mate, to be honest.
Brown Warrior says you have to change the setup in midfield if you want to bring a defensive midfield player in.
Well, no, really, mate. All you got to do is put McGregor where he's supposed to go.
And
Put
number
this
8,
CDM, put a CDM in number 6,
number 6 position.
and then play Hattati.
Yep. I
You
think
don't need to change the formation or the system. That's all you've got to do.
I think what he's meaning is that the fact that all of the players are kind of attacking midfielders rather than a proper, how would I say it, a proper, like, a Paul Hartley kind of, a Scott Brown kind of midfield player, can you know what I mean?
But that's what that person would be. If you go to a CDM in, he would be your Paul Hartley or your Scott Brown. And Carl McGregor would be doing the job that he done for Celtic when Scott Brown was the Paul Hartley. But to be honest with you, I think Europe against the big teams calls for 2 sitting midfielders. I think we need a Carl McGregor and Era. I think we're going to have to just make midfield as turgid as possible. Because even that game I mentioned earlier on, Bodo Glimt, that they bypassed our full midfield. And see if you get a team who's got a bit more ability or a bit more nous that opportunity to get 30 yards from goal with ease, they're gonna punish you, mate. You need to make it as difficult as possible to get into the danger areas of the park.
Something that I was thinking about. I don't know if it's just me being stupid and thinking about Ange Postecoglou being Australian, right? But I was thinking that we definitely at Hearts, right? Ange Postecoglou obviously has something for him, because I watched him on Sunday, and he always goes over to him and says whatever he says. But I just think he's a kind of a bite your midfielder, he gets stuck in, and he's very young. He's Australian. I think he could be somebody that we look to possibly go to next, because we've already spoken about it with Moy. If I think if Angel likes what he sees with him, and he likes the cut of his jib, as you would say, well, then I think we definitely try and go for him, because he knows that in the Scottish market you could probably get him for cheap, and I think he's only about 23, 24, and he's still got a lot of development. He's from Australia, so Angel know him. He'll know what he's all about. And
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say because he's Australian that he would know him, but I did see him speaking to him. When he's gave him a wee cuddle last season, and he was speaking to him, and I thought, well, he's met him at some point in his career, so I thought, well, maybe he's been giving a wee word of advice or encouragement. I thought that was nice to see, actually, that the manager would take the time to do that. If maybe it's one that Celtic are looking at, maybe Ange likes to look at the player. If you say that you're saying that it would fit in your system, then I'd go for that, mate. I think you tend to spot a good player when it comes to the Scottish League. I don't really know a lot of players in our league that would make us better, to be honest with you, mate.
Paddy
I
pops
agree with
in.
you. I think we're playing against. I say this is the worst top division. I might be wrong here. It's probably the worst top division that I've probably ever seen. I think Roy Dyler's last season was really poor, but I think the other teams in this league, apart from Hearts, are at a very, very poor level, mate. Very poor level.
As Paddy pops in and says that he was very impressed by him against Zurich on Thursday. And for me, that's an important thing as well, Mark, because he showed that he can put in a man-of-match performance in against a top European side. Okay, Zurich are not doing well there, but the Swiss Premier League champion, so they can't be a bad team. And he was the man-of-match for Hearts.
Well, you're absolutely right, mate. I don't think a team like that's a given. I don't think we would have a banker just be saying we're playing Sturm Graz in a playoff. I don't think we would count our chickens. I think we would take that game seriously. So the fact that Hearts can count themselves unlucky just shows you that they're actually quite a good team. I actually quite rate Hearts, to be honest with you. I think Hearts are capable of coming to Celtic Park and Ibrox and getting points. I think they're probably I think we've all dropped points this season. I think it's a fact. I think both as well, but it's probably the only team that I would say are capable of doing it on any given day.
Yep. Another point that I want to raise just before we go is Pat says that Scales was very impressive against for Aberdeen today, and he's been very good over the past few weeks. This is something I want to touch you about. This is why, for me, Celtic didn't let Scales go on a permanent, because I think that possibly they see that he's got a future there, because if he's impressing in these first couple of games for Aberdeen, and as Pat says there, he was very impressive again today, then surely that's why Aberdeen tried to sign him, because Jim Goodwin would have seen that he's got potential. This could be a sort of Tony Ralston, Christopher Ayer kind of one for Celtic, where if he's going out there and impressing for Aberdeen every single week, then surely we should take notice of that.
I think it was a good choice of club for them. I think Aberdeen's tend to be a good choice of clubs for Celtic players who are of a standard. Aberdeen's, even a poor Aberdeen team, there's a lot of pressure on them. Aberdeen fans are no mugs.
No,
They turn up in big numbers. You get 3,000-4,000 at a away match sometimes. They're a big club, and I think Celtic have probably picked the right club for them. I'd probably say Aberdeen, for me, is the best team, the best club for our young players to go to if they're going to get game time. I did actually see the guy speaking, I think it was the day's paper or yesterday's paper, saying he's not here for Celtic. Normally they keep in touch with their loan players, and he's not heard one word for them. Maybe that's because they just let them develop, or maybe that's because he was signed by Neil Lennon. I did notice Chris Julian's goodbye letter to Celtic. He mentioned Neil Lennon and mentioned John Kennedy, but never mentioned Ange Postecoglou. I found that very strange, and I think the guys get time for people that are on the up for the challenge, who not get the right mentality for the challenge. I think that was Julian, but he might well have a wee bee in his bonnet about some of the players that were signed for him, i.e. McCarthy, Liam Shaw, Scales, very good, because they were totally dismissed straight away.
So you think that even if they impress he's still not going to play them because he's got that kind of mindset, right? Well, I didn't sign him, so don't try and tell me who I'm playing here.
I think he's very much. Don't tell me what to do.
That's Chris. Aye.
I think he's, and I think that's a good thing. I think he's very much. I can't see the days of chairmen coming down the stairs and telling the manager what team to pick. The days are well and truly over, especially at Celtic. You know what I mean? But I think he took the McCarthy signing on the chin. Shaw, Scales, and Reegan. He took them on the chin and just said, "I'll bring him in if he's want, but it doesn't mean I'm going to play them." And I think they four combined, you'd be lucky if they've played 10 matches between the four of them. And I'm pretty sure Liam Scales, he scored at Tannadice. I think he might have scored in Celtic Park in the Cup. And he's actually been, out of the four players I just mentioned, he's been pretty impressive when I have seen him. He's looked no at a place. And maybe he has got a time at Celtic, but I do know Aberdeen fans were saying basically for day one, or very early, sorry, this guy is a player they want to keep a hold of. So he must have done something right.
Mark, he scored an absolute screamer against, I think it was Rafe Roberts, would I be right in saying that? He scored
I think so, mate, aye.
That's
right.
But you've got Egyptian King pops in the comments and says the one player he'd be signing next summer for Celtic is putting a cheeky bid in for Dylan Levitt next summer.
Aye. I'd say you buy him now and put him back on loan to them. You say how much you want, 1.5 million, 2 million. Right. Tell you what, you keep a holiday him until next season. Do it with Ryan Christie. He was signed straight away and told, "Nah, you should get a holiday and develop him for another season." I think with that mind with that, I think they would. I know he's just signed, right? But I'd do that if I could, because I only saw that one match against AZ away. Sorry, at home. And I thought he was outstanding, that young boy. And I thought the Rangers player, was it Middleton? No. The old Rangers player played from, he was class that night, you know. But he was the best player in the park.
Yeah,
Middleton. But he was the best player in the park, that boy. Yeah, I thought he was class.
We've got a comment in here from Alex, who's enjoying the show from Turkey. So enjoy your stay in Turkey, Alex, and I'll see you soon, because I do bump into Alex sometimes at Celtic Park. So enjoy Turkey and spread the word about the Boise Bus to people in Turkey. Hopefully you get to see the game out in Turkey tomorrow in a Celtic supporters club in Turkey then. But
definitely.
Your brother pops in the comments and says, "Don't let Dylan Levitt go down south. Don't let Dylan Levitt go down south and then regretting 2-3 years time that you didn't sign him." For me, that's a good point, because if you look at John McGinn, right, people say that Celtic matched the bid of John McGinn. Celtic never matched the bid of John McGinn. Celtic only matched the bid of John McGinn when John McGinn was sitting with an Aston Villa polo shirt on.
Aye. A last ditch attempt to pretend they were doing all they could.
Yeah, so for me, Celtic need to get Dylan Levitt and also, who was I talking about there? Somebody else in the SPL. Devlin. Need to get those two signed up and say, right, these two are decent players. They could do other job in Scotland, and this is what we're going to do.
Well, that's fine with me, mate. I'll okay that, mate. If I'm in charge for you, I'll do it. I would do it. I do you a favour, no bother me. I'll bring them in.
Yeah, Mark. So we're going to finish there, but I want to get your thoughts on, because Celtic playing Tuesday night as well. I think it is up at Ross County.
Well, I thought it was Wednesday. Was it Tuesday?
It's Wednesday. It must be Wednesday then. Wednesday up at Ross County.
Right.
In the League Cup.
We
play Ross County. Hopefully it's not another tricky night in Downwell, but do you expect us to get into the quarter final?
I do, mate. I expect Celtic to play a strong team. I do. I don't think Celtic have come unstuck over the years by playing 7-8, by making 7-8 changes, and I don't think Ange has really been doing that. I think Ange wants to win as many trophies as he can at Celtic, and that's why Brendan Rodgers was the difference between Martin O'Neill and Gordon Strachan. He took the League Cup, and he took every cup match seriously. We could have won a couple of trebles under Mark O'Neill if he just didn't make 10 changes against Livingston and 10 changes against Inverness Cali or whatever it was. I mean, and I think Rogers didn't do it. Rogers used to play the same 11 basically in cup games, and I think Ange might do the same. You might see Giakoumakis come in and Ralston come in, which I'm hoping, because the two of them will probably play really well. You might even see Starfield getting 90 minutes to see where he's at for the Champions League coming up. But I expect us to treat it like a league match, go up there with all intentions of getting to the next round, and giving the 3,000-4,000 Celtic fans that have travelled all that way up there a wee party for going home with.
Yeah, you spoke about Starfield there. Starfield and Dingwall still gives me nightmares, Mark.
Oh, heebie-jeebies, mate. I think, to me, I think Jens is already
Yeah, he's
got that place, mate.
established himself as
He looks more classy than him, and it looks to me like the player that Julian wanted to be. I think Julian was almost a right good player for Celtic, and Julian had that mistake in him. So will Jens. I mean, I think the season we signed Jens, I think he actually made the most mistakes that led to goals for opposition teams in the league he was in. He made 5 mistakes, which isn't a lot, but it was the most mistakes that led to goals. So that was a big surprise that he had that in his locker, giving away the penalties at Kilmarnock in his last season and things like that. It was a big shock to me. Although I think he performed at a very high level for Celtic. I think the guy scored winners against Lazio, winners against Rangers, but he was also a good player for Celtic. But this guy looks a bit more classy on the ground. He looks a bit more, tidy as well. He's good, and he's some tackler, really good tackler. So he is. I like him.
So Mark, me and you's not going to be on until next Sunday. So I'll just get a prediction for the Ross County game, and then for the Rangers game, mate.
Rangers game and all.
Because
the Rangers. We might just. Well, you need to speak to Russell. We might be able to do one on a Saturday night or something. Because I think Sunday I'll be at the game, mate. So I'll be away early.
No, the Celtic game's on Saturday 12:30.
Oh, so it is, mate. So it is Saturday. Right, okay. Ross County. I am going to say I think Celtic will win the match 3-1. And I think the Derby match, I think it's going to be a draw, mate.
Right, okay. I'll go.
So what's yours then?
Ross County 1, Celtic 4. And I'll go Celtic 3, Rangers 0.
Oh, I'll take that. That's brilliant. I'll take that, mate. That'll fucking do me lovely.
Yep.
I'll take any role. I'll take a 1-0 own goal against them. That'll do me. But I'm just trying to be what I think rather than what I want, mate. And I just think they're more than capable of coming to a place in Celtic Park and getting a point quite comfortably. I think it depends on. I always think always depends on Celtic. And if we turn up, then. And I'm gonna be honest here. I don't care how it sounds. We're playing against 12 men. No, Reegan, I know you're laughing, and you're laughing because you know it's true. We're playing against a referee who will not care what press he gets the following week, what mistakes he's made. He will do everything in his book to even up any advantage we've got over them. That'll be allowing Lundstrom to attack O'Reilly, knee McGregor in the back, hit Atati. He will allow Tavernier to put fucking Jota up in the air. He'll just allow it, mate. He'll just allow it. And not just that, I think they're quite a good team as well. I think I'm actually going to 2 each. I'm going to say 2 each.
Mark, Monty's not happy. He says, for God's sake, Mark, cheer up. He's not happy with you.
Oh, well.
Monty's not happy. Sorry, Monty.
Oh, well, Monty, son. I could lie to you and say we're going to win 3-0 or 4-0, but I'm not going to lie to myself, mate.
Yep. So, Mark, thank you for joining us. Remember, you can join us again next Sunday. And if you didn't catch the show tonight, and you're always waking up on a Sunday morning watching me and Mark, don't forget you can like and subscribe and tune in on Sunday morning.
Well, hopefully Monty's coming on Sunday to tell me how wrong I was and Celtic won 3-0. That's what I'm looking forward to next Sunday. So Monty, I hope you're the very first comment next week telling me I'm an idiot and Celtic won 3-0. I pray to God you're right, mate, and I deserve all the tweets, all the messages you give me next Sunday. I'll be delighted to read every single one of them, mate. I just don't think. I just don't. And by the way, I don't think a draw would be a disaster. I mean, they're still a tough team. I mean, if we finish next weekend, top of the league, that will do me, mate. That will do me fucking nicely.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yep. I'm just laughing at these comments coming. Somebody says the glass is half empty or half full, Mark.
Well, what do they want me to do, mate? I mean, they've obviously, mate. See what I'm telling you on screen here? What I'm telling you on screen is what I would tell somebody in my work. And I'm not going to lie to you, Lannies. I'm just going to tell you what I think, mate. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm trying to be pessimistic. I don't think Celtic will beat Real Madrid at Bernabeu either.
No.
That might shock a few people as well, you know what I mean? But it's just my truth, mate. I just don't think Celtic are going to win next week. It's not just because I don't think Celtic are going to win. Rangers are a good team. And as I said to you, we're playing 12 men. And see a draw. If we finish next weekend, top of the league, and I'm delighted with that, mate. See, Celtic get through this weekend, we're positioned that next weekend they can stay top, and we go through next Saturday night, and we're top of the league. And as a Celtic fan, me personally, I'm delighted with that.
Yeah, my people say in the comments, I've had a power cut. No, I would like to say my energy bills are getting paid. Don't worry. The energy, I know the energy crisis is hitting us hard, and I'm sorry to the. I'm sorry to everybody, but my energy bills are totally fine.
Right.
But thank you for,
fine, mate.
But thank you for joining us, everybody. It's been great to have you. It's been great to have you on this Saturday night. Monty's back on. He says, Russell, if you could bring that comment back up. What does Monty say there? I'm just trying to. Monty says, won't call you an idiot. Have a Mark. Maybe just be a bit more a little bit more upbeat.
Ask me again then. Ask me what the score's going to be on Saturday.
Mark, what's the score going to be on Sunday?
26-0.
There you go. Joseph says he respects me and you's opinion. It's just banter. There you go.
That's it, mate. It's only an opinion, mate. If you say 3-0 and I said, oh, Reegan, you're right, 3-0, it wouldn't be a good show with it. See next time you ask me what I think the score's going to be, say to me, Mark, what do you think the people in the comments want me to say the score's going to be? Now I'll answer it that way, mate, right? They've got their wee comments, and I think that our comments are always quite fair and balanced, and mine are normally fair and balanced as well. I understand it. I don't try my best to come across negative, but when I say Neil Lennon in a Celtic manager, I say that because it comes from the heart and the brain, you know what I mean? And when I say it, I don't think Celtic are going to beat Real Madrid. I say that because I have got a brain. And when I say Celtic might not beat Rangers next week, I'm just trying to be fair and balanced. I mean, they'll just fight a PSV and beat them away from home. I probably say we're probably don't know any better than PSV, and if we are, probably not much better. So they're capable of doing that. It's no, they wouldn't stop. They wouldn't stop the clocks in Prague, town square, because Rangers get a point in Celtic Park. It wouldn't shock anybody, mate.
No,
I think they're capable of doing it. I think, on top of that, I think they're going to play 12 men. I think they're going to play 12 men, mate. The referee.
Yep.
Mate, see, my biggest fear about these games is always a referee. I don't want to sound biased saying that, but I've just watched Celtic so many times playing 12 men against Rangers, and I don't know. I'm hoping again, and we have another beach ball Sunday and beat them 3-0. I really do. I hope we just get in there and just rattle them. I really do. And there'll be nobody in that stadium, believe you me, shouting for Celtic louder than me. There'll be a person in that stadium, including the players, wanting Celtic to win more than me. I love Celtic as much as anybody on the planet, but it doesn't mean that I can't be honest when I'm asked my opinion, mate. It's
No,
just my. I'm not going to lie just because you've asked me, Reegan. I'll tell you the truth, buddy.
I totally agree with you, Mark. And thank you for joining everybody in the comments. It's great to have your comments. And one day, I hope we're back on next Sunday.
Aye, slagging me, mate. Tell me you can slag me. All next week's Sunday show will just be about slagging me, and I'm hoping that's the case. Taylor, it's a fact. I hope it's just every comment is just telling Mark to see how stupid he is, because that's exactly what I'll do.
Okay, thank you for joining us, guys. It's been great to have you on, and have a great Saturday night.
Cheers, guys.
Comments about me deliberately trying to cause controversy. Well, I work in the media now, and you've got someone sitting there next to you who's an embarrassment to the media profession. He's an apologist. He's a charlatan.